Covering a 500,000 square mile area of the Atlantic Ocean, the Bermuda Triangle is an area that forms a, triangle between 3 points, Miami, San Juan, and Bermuda. Many ships sailing through it, as well as planes going over it, have mysteriously disappeared without a trace. In some cases, the wrecks were found, but the crew had vanished completely. Over the past 5 centuries, more than 1,000 planes and ships have disappeared in what is famously dubbed the Devil's Triangle. One of the most famous stories is the Ghost Ship, aka the Mary Celeste. In October of 1872, Mary Celeste was made ready to board in New York's East River for a voyage to Italy. Benjamin Briggs headed the voyage as captain of the ship, and along with his wife Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and 7 crew members, the ship departed on November 7, 1872. After almost a month of her sail, on December 4, 1872, a British vessel named De Gratia found Mary Celeste off the coast of Portugal, sailing erratically at full sail. Once the crew members boarded, they found it abandoned, with its sails slightly damaged, several feet of water in the hold, and the lifeboat and navigational tools missing. The ship was in good order, with 6 months' provisions of food and water on board, but there was not a single soul to be found. All of their personal belongings and valuables were untouched. The last entry in the ship's log was from 9 days earlier and placed the Mary Celeste nearly 400 nautical miles from the position where she was discovered. The people were never found. In March of 1918, the USS Cyclops, a 542-foot-long Navy cargo ship with 10,000 tons of manganese and 300 men on board, sank somewhere between Barbados and Chesapeake Bay. It was reported that the Cyclops never sent out a distress signal, despite being able to do so. When an extensive search was performed, no wreckage was uncovered. The incident remains the single largest non-combat loss of life in U.S. Navy history. On December 5, 1945, Flight 19, consisting of 5 Navy bombers carrying 14 men, took off from the naval base in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in order to conduct practice bombing runs. Led by Commander Charles Taylor, each plane was a 3-seater, very safe, and at the time the U.S. Navy's best bombing planes. At 2:10 p.m., the 5 planes took off one after the other. It was a clear day. At about 3:30, Taylor sent a message to the control tower that his compass was malfunctioning, and then at 3:45, Taylor's voice was heard again at the control towers, sounding worried and confused that they couldn't see land. At 5:50, the ComGulf Center managed to trace the Flight 19 Avengers on its radar, but by then communications had become so poor there was no way to relay this information to the lost planes. The weather was becoming rough and the Avengers were very low on fuel, so at 7:27 p.m., 2 Martin Mariner planes were sent to search for the Flight 19 planes. The search continued all night and into the next day, but when it was time for the 2 search planes to meet at the decided spot, only one showed up. The second had disappeared, never to return again. After a week-long search for both Flight 19 and the Martin Mariner didn't turn up any evidence, the official Navy report declared that it was as if they had flown to Mars. The most recent strange happening was actually in 2015. On October 1st, the cargo ship SS El Faro left Jacksonville, Florida, bound for Puerto Rico with 33 crew members on board. A tropical storm that was hundreds of miles away developed into a hurricane and circled around SS El Faro. Soon all communications from the ship went silent. A weeks-long search finally turned up the ship, sitting upright in one piece at a depth of about 15,000 feet. Tom Roth-Rory, the lead investigator for the NTSB, said, "There were no human remains found whatsoever and no personal effects whatsoever. I think we found one boot." No matter how much theorizing you do, there is no way to definitively know the truth about the many unusual disappearances of aircrafts and vessels within the Bermuda Triangle. In all probability, there is no single theory that fully solves the mystery, and there's a possibility that it's a mixture of both logical and supernatural. But nothing short of a full search of the stretch of the ocean called the Bermuda Triangle would solve it.